Welcome back, guys. I got another video for you, so let's get into it.
Can somebody explain to me in crayon eating terms why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage?
Well, before we continue with the video, let's find out what the federal minimum wage is and what this young man is making. So, from the U.S. Department of Labor, it says here, employers subject to the Fair Labor Standards Act must pay the current federal minimum wage of $7.25 per hour times 40 hours a week. That puts you $290 a week times 52 weeks. That would put them at $15,000 a year. But this young man makes 3 times the minimum wage. This young man makes $45,240 a year. And now let's find out what the average median income in America is. So let's say here, average median income in US. It is $37,585. So he falls under the U.S. average median income, which is the vast majority of people here in U.S. So with this in mind, let's keep going with the video.
And I cannot afford to live. And I do not want to hear the pull yourself up from your bootstraps, work 90 hours a week. That's not the goal, guys. That should not be our standard.
Sitting and complaining is not going to get your pay raise, and it's not going to lower the inflation. You have to deal with the situation that you are in. You have to pull yourself by your bootstraps because no one's going to come and do it for you. Women, on the other hand, they can be rescued. Some men can come and get her out of the situation that she's in because they tend to date and marry up. We don't have the luxury. You may not want to hear this, but this is what comes with being a man. But I do agree with him when he said that the end goal is not to work 90 hours a week, that shouldn't be the standard. I agree with him on that. Unfortunately, this is reality. And you have to put in the work because no one's going to come and hand you money. No one's going to come and lift us. As men, that's not going to happen. Sometimes you're going to have to put in 60, 70 hours a week for who knows how long, because no one's gonna come and scratch your back.
I am so fucking tired of people being complacent with this uniparty, both of them fucking us over. When my parents were my age, they both made less than half of what I make, and they lived alone. I cannot afford to live anywhere alone. A 1-bedroom apartment, $1,800. 2-bedroom apartment, $2,200. Who the fuck can afford that? It is embarrassing to come out and say that it is a struggle to survive right now.
I understand rent is expensive, but I have also said when you cannot afford rent, the best thing that young people can do today is to get themselves some roommates. I understand that he wants to live alone, but right now is not the time for him to live alone if he cannot afford it. The best thing that he can do is to get roommates. This is something that you're going to do temporarily. I am going to give him credit because it's not easy to turn a camera on, record yourself, and then upload that video for everybody else to see that you are struggling financially. It takes guts to do that. Now, with the other thing that he was talking about his parents doing with less, about how good they had it, and why can't we have it now? We have our struggles today, and we just have to look at things for what they truly are and the problems that we're facing, but we have to do something about it. And if it is required of us to slave away for 10, 15 years for 70 hours a week, and if that is what we have to do, then that is what we have to do.
But I know so many people are struggling. And do not get me started on what my grandparents were doing. They $3,000 house. And yes, I understand inflation and all of the bullshit that they have been pulling with the Fed. Why are we allowing it? Why? And then I clock out of my shift. I am tired. I have to go home. And I check the news. Another 60 fucking billion to a country nobody can point out on a map.
And this right here is the perfect example of what I said in one of my earlier videos, that you shouldn't get caught up in the day-to-day politics because you're going to get worked up, just like this young man. And yes, you should pay attention to policy because I have said it before. Policy influences the economy. You also pay attention to geopolitical events because that also has an effect on the economy and the inflation.
What are we doing? Where has the plot gone? We have lost it, folks. We have fucking lost it. The American dream is dead. It is over. Gone and forgotten.
I understand things are hard. I get it. But that's not the right mentality to have. Not now. Because the moment we set our minds and think in this way, we already predisposition our minds that no matter what we do, we will never get ahead and we will never achieve whatever it is that we want to achieve. In the case of this young man, is the American dream. And in his mind, that dream is dead. And no matter what he does, he will never obtain it. And that is a dangerous thing to do because we are already giving up before we're even trying.
If people got their act together and really aimed at it. Because, you know, my experience is with people that we're probably running at about 51% of our capacity. Something, I mean, you can think about this yourselves. I often ask undergraduates how many hours a day you waste or how many hours a week you waste. And the classic answer is something like 4 to 6 hours a day. You know, inefficient studying, watching things on YouTube that not only do you not want to watch, that you don't even care about, that make you feel horrible about watching after you're done. That's probably 4 hours right there. You know, you think, well, that's 25 hours a week. It's 100 hours a month. That's 2.5 full work weeks. It's half a year of work weeks per year. And if your time is worth $20 an hour, which is a radical underestimate, it's probably more like 50 if you think about it in terms of deferred wages. If you're wasting 20 hours a week, you're wasting $50,000 a year.
I didn't really realize how true this was until that happened to me, until I lived it. The one thing that I realized is that social media was playing a huge part on holding me back. And I remember me making the decision I would say 11 years or so ago, that I was going to get rid of all social media. And I had way too much time in my hands. And that's when I made the decision that I'm going to spend that time that I was wasting on social media on doing things that will make me money. I started spending time and buying books about investment, finances, how to invest, when to invest, how to get out of debt, how to properly invest. That was a life-changing experience for me. You don't realize how much time you waste on social media until you make the attempt to delete it all and erase everything. And you will see how much time you have on your hands. Just give it a shot and you will see how much time you guys have. One of the books that I read, it's called The Millionaire Mind. It's a really good book. The other book that I read is The Psychology of Money. Really good book too. And then another one that I have is The Multiple Streams of Income. It's a really good book too. And I have a ton of other books that I read. Get with people that are successful in whatever area you want to succeed. Get advice from those people. Educate yourself in those fields so that when they talk to you, you know what they're talking about.
And you are doing that right now. And it's because you're young, wasting $50,000 a year is a way bigger catastrophe than it would be for me to waste it because I'm not going to last nearly as long. And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, well, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be, who knows how much more efficient? 10 times more efficient, 20 times more efficient. That's the Pareto distribution. You have no idea how efficient people get. It's off the charts.
And you have no idea how efficient you can be with your time. Like he said, it's totally off the charts. But for personal experience, 2 things made that possible. First, you have to be very disciplined. And the second thing, you have to be very organized. You organize your life accordingly. And you do that by starting in your bathroom. That's the first place you should start. Then you move into the kitchen and the living room. You do the entire house. And when everything is in order, you're going to start organizing everything outside your house. You're going to manage your time more wisely. You're going to do the same thing at work. And your thoughts are going to be more organized. And you're going to put things in perspective in the order that you want to accomplish some things. I don't know how that works. I'm not a psychologist, but damn it, it does work.
So here are the 10 lessons I learned from basic SEAL training that hopefully will be of value to you as you move forward in life. Every morning in SEAL training, my instructors, who at the time were all Vietnam veterans, would show up in my barracks room, and the first thing they'd do was inspect my bed. If you did it right, the corners would be square, the covers would be pulled tight, the pillow centered just under the headboard, and the extra blanket folded neatly at the foot of the rack. It was a simple task, mundane at best, but every morning we were required to make our bed to perfection. It seemed a little ridiculous at the time, particularly in light of the fact that we were aspiring to be real warriors, tough, battle-hardened SEALs. But the wisdom of this simple act has been proven to me many times over. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, And it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed.
Organize your lives if you need to. Set your life in order if you have to. Set some goals, work on them, be on your grind until you achieve those goals. Watch your 6 at all times, and I'll see you next time.